welcome in. It's another edition of the Joe Raineri Show, brought to you by uwager.eu. It is where America bets. It is where this damn show bets. Not to mention our good friends at trendybets.com. Want to thank them very much for being a part of the show. We are loaded here today. I don't know how else to say it. We are loaded with football knowledge, handicapping knowledge, and also we're going to get you all set up for UFC 231. We are bringing in specialists. We're dropping people in from all over the country. Our promise to you is to continue to deliver some of the best and the most knowledgeable, the most transparent that this industry has, and we do so each and every day. That is what we strive to do. And there are two people that you are going to meet today that fit that criteria. None other than the legend, Mr. Joe D'Amico from AASIwins.com. He is going to be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. We're going to be talking college football. We're going to be talking betting strategy. We're going to be talking about some of his favorite plays over the weekend in the NFL. Wait until you meet Joe. I've been looking so forward to doing this interview, getting him on the show, a true legend in the industry. You don't do anything 30-plus years if you're not successful and you don't know what you're doing, especially in Las Vegas. So we are so happy to have him on the show. That is coming up. And again, I mentioned UFC 231 just around the corner, and the specialist we got in, paratrooper, I think we're parachuting him in, Mr. UFC Vegas from our good friends at wagertalk.com. He's going to drop by. Now, listen, those of you that you bet on the NBA, you bet on college basketball, you may bet on the NFL, but maybe you haven't tackled UFC and you haven't tackled how to bet on these matches. We are going to get not only betting advice from Mr. UFC Vegas, but we're also going to get some of his better plays for the pay-per-view event tomorrow night in Toronto. That's right, UFC 231 in Toronto. So we're going to drop a whole bunch of UFC knowledge your way, courtesy of wagertalk.com, and a guy that knows it better than anybody, Mr. UFC Vegas. So looking forward to that. Of course, your trendybets.com, the NBA, free play of the day coming your way. They nailed it again last night. That pick has been fantastic over the last 30 days. I have no doubt that it is going to continue to be absolutely perfect. Make sure you guys head over to trendybets.com and check those guys out. Also want to welcome in those of you that are joining us across all 5 platforms right now. You know how it works. We come to you live each and every Monday through Friday. We do this show daily, and we cover YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. And those of you that are hanging out in the chat rooms right now, we appreciate you. Welcome in. Danny, good to see you. Courtney, nice to see you. Russell joining us as well. Pleasure to see you guys. It means the world to us that you will spend some time. I know you got a lot of choices in this digital world, so the fact that you choose us and that you choose to hang out with us, it does mean the world to us. So we appreciate that. And the only thing we ask is that you share this content. If you like what we're delivering to you, go ahead, give us the thumbs up, subscribe, follow us, like us, retweet us, do all of those great things. It would really, really mean the world to us. We are trying to bring you each and every day. We're trying to make you a little better, and we laugh at ourselves here on the show, but that is the case. We want to make you a better sports investor, a better sports handicapper, and the way that we know how to do that is by showcasing some of the best from around the country, and that is what we have on tap again for you today. The legend Joe D'Amico, he is going to join us here in just a couple of minutes. Get ready for Mr. UFC Vegas after that, wagertalk.com. But, of course, first we have to thank a few of our sponsors, including Miami Acura. And this is the time of the year for you to be able to go out and get that car that you've always wanted. Why? Because the deals are unbelievable right now. End of the year, they want you to finally get that car you want, like the brand new 2019 RDX. They want you to go take it for a test drive. If it's a certified or pre-owned vehicle that you are in the market for, there are no better deals than right now with Miami Acura. So it's simple. If you're in the 305 and you understand who Pitbull is, then you know they're on South Dixie Highway in Palmetto Bay. If you're not from the 305, simply call them at 855-564-4669 or check them out at miamiacura.com. You can shop everybody else, but before you make a decision, make sure you go to miamiacura.com and check out the deals that they've got going on right now. End of the year. Take advantage. Don't know how long it's going to last, but I do know that if you want a great deal, if you want that car that you've always wanted, you're going to get it at a price you never thought possible right now at Miami Acura. So do yourself a favor and head over to miamiacura.com. Hey guys, happy Friday. I've been telling you all week I have been just stoked and really excited to be able to get our next guest on the show. He is a legend, and most legends are usually dead, but not this guy. When I tell you he is over 30-plus years in the sports handicapping industry, you don't do 30 days, much less 30-plus years if you don't know what the hell you're talking about. He is definitely legend material, certainly in Las Vegas and in the sports handicapping world. Please welcome via the Miami Acura hotline, Mr. Joe D'Amico joining us. Joe, how are you, my friend?
I am wonderful, Joe. I'm honored to be here with you. I'm a big fan of yours, and I want to say hello to all our listeners, viewers out there, guys. Tune in because you're going to get some great information today.
Yes, no, we definitely are. Now, let's start first and foremost. Give people, I know you back. Your bio reads, it's ridiculous. It's its own novel, but give people the quick synopsis of what you've been doing, where you've been, all of that good stuff, man.
Yeah, my bio reads like a mob guy's criminal record. It's amazing. I started, literally I started when I was about 10 years old in the schoolyard with football sheets. Living in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, I worked for some of the biggest bookmakers in the world. I could say that now, statute of limitations as it is gone. You know, and then I did do some work when I came out here for some sports books. First I made my bones. I started as a ticket writer, worked my way up to manager. Love the Las Vegas casinos, absolutely love them. An advocate for the casinos out here. It wasn't for me. I went to work for some of the most known and most acclaimed handicappers on the planet. And then after running rooms, I was in sales. I was a very good salesman, but I realized that I was as good or better percentage-wise than these handicappers, and I went on my own. And Joe, I'll be honest, the first couple of years, it was tough. You know, you go from being a known sports bettor to being a handicapper. That transition isn't as smooth. This was before social media, where everybody had a platform, and the first couple of years was tough. And I had to kick some doors down, get into some publications like the Las Vegas Review Journal, get on some websites, get my records going, and records do count out there. And you know, there are guys in the business that look kind of good, that sound kind of good, that can pick some winners. Very few people can do it all. I can do it all. And, you know, and here I am, 15 years really owning All American Sports Information. I've got more handicapping championships than the Yankees have World Series rings. That's true. And you know what? Every year in, year out, I make people money. I've come to realize, Joseph, and our listeners and viewers out there, you know, this isn't what I do. This is who I am. You know, I love the police here in Southern Nevada, Metro, and North Las Vegas and Henderson. We get the best cops in the country. You know, a great cop gets off a shift. He doesn't go on his way home, sees a crime, and keeps going. He stops because it's not what he does, it's who he is. People, Joe, you know, I'll be honest. I know I rant, but when you're sick, you go to a doctor. You don't take out your own appendix. When you're in trouble, you get a good lawyer. I'm perfect proof of that. 29 gross misdemeanors, no felony conviction. No, I'm just kidding. You get a good lawyer. When you want winners, guys, most people out there don't have the time, the resources, the connections, or the background to do this. While farmers are sleeping, I'm up and I'm doing my work. I'm on the phone with Costa Rica, guys throughout the country where the lines are going to move. I have the background, the resources, and the connection to get people paid. And that's why I don't consider myself coming to work when I wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm doing what I do because this is who I am.
Yeah, well, Joe, I got to tell you, man, it's you are certainly in circles, and people will know. And on this show, I mean, we pride ourselves on bringing only the best of the best around the country and shining a light on you guys and showcasing you, Joe, because you know this, especially on social media. Everyone's a professional sports handicapper these days. But the reality is it's a full-time job. It's not something that should be looked at lightly. It's not something you can just do on, you know, Thursday nights or Friday mornings. It's something that requires, you know, 4 40, 50, 60 hours a week to be able to be really, really good at it and to be able to do it longevity-wise. 30 plus years, JoJo. I mean, like you said, it's who you are. It has to be who you are, and that's what separates the men from the boys, so to speak, in this industry.
Absolutely, Joe. You know, I wouldn't go to a dentist with bad teeth or a doctor with bad health or even an ugly stripper. I want to go to somebody that actually they live this life. I live in Las Vegas. I love it here. I love everything about Southern Nevada. Came here when I was 20 years old on vacation, had a big 7-room suite at the old Aladdin, and I bought a house during my stay. While I love New York, it is always where I was born and raised. It's the epicenter of the universe. I am a Las Vegan. I'll tell you, I walk the walk, I talk the talk. I bet the games that I put out. So on winning days, guys, I want our listeners and viewers to know on winning days, I'm twice as happy. You guys are getting paid. You're going to pay me more, and I'm getting paid. I do have losing days. You know, on bad days, I'm twice as pissed off, Joseph, because not only am I not going to get paid tomorrow from the followers out there, but I lost my bets too. So, you know, anybody can say, do this, do that. But when you bet your own games, guys, the proof is in the pudding. You know, I wear it, I live it, I talk it, I drive it, I eat it. And you know, I've got a great life here.
I love it, man. All right, Joe D'Amico, AASIwins.com is where you guys can see him right up there on the screen. Before we get into some of the action this weekend, I want to talk betting strategy, if we can, for the viewers here, JoJo, especially this time of year. You've got bowl games in college football, right? So you've got these coaches, you've got these teams with 30 days, you know, 3 weeks layoff. It's not the same. You don't bet them and you don't view them or handicap in the same way that you might in October, in December. So talk a little bit, if you will, about how you approach looking at bowl games and how you go about handicapping this time of year.
I'm glad you asked that, Joseph. I'll be honest, you know, first of all, I want our listeners to know I'm an advocate of less is more. I'd rather go 2-0 than 6-4. Not only am I not paying back juice, I have less stress, less aggravation. Let me put it this way. Would you rather have one wife like Heidi Klum or 100 that look like Rosie O'Donnell? Give me Heidi any day of the week, guys. And that goes the same. If you have a bad day or a poor morning or afternoon and you go 0-2, you're only one day away from being back in the plus column. If you go 2-8, guys, it's going to be a long uphill battle. This time of year, Joseph, yes, you know, I think you got to look at certain teams that need to stay fresh. Yes, certain teams all the teams have time to get healthy and prepare for their matchup. But I think coaching comes into play here. But I will tell you this, and this is, while I love sports and sports betting, there's 40-plus bowl games. Honestly, I put something up. I caught some flack for it. Half of these games we don't need. Just don't play a game because you need action or because it's a bowl game or whatnot. I think you really need to pick and choose and be selective. I think that's really ideal. But this time of year, and obviously the points are jumping both sides of total. We've seen totals already move 3-4 points in the bowl games, and they're going to move more. You know, as action comes in on one side, sometimes, you know, the sharp guys or the bigger gaming crews, betting crews will move a line so the general public jumps on it. They'll move it even more, then they'll jump against it, try to middle a game. But you really have to be, you know, for me, it's always about the number. You know, and that's why I've been so successful. I work with 5 of the biggest betting crews across the country, across the world, some down in the islands, that I know where the lines are going to move before they move. And that's where I go. If I like a game I know is going to move against me, I'll move on it early. If I like a game that I know is going to move against it, move with it, I'll move on it late. I think it's very important. It's always about the number, no matter what time of the year. But this time of year specifically, lines are moving. That's why here in Vegas, you know, they kind of limit you on totals specifically. I mean, we can go into college betting in a minute, but, you know, you walk into a casino now. It ain't the old days where you can walk in with a suitcase and say, I want to bet this. They limit you, and especially when they know you're somebody like myself, some of the other sharper players here in Vegas and Southern Nevada. They'll see you coming, and they'll say, well, who do you want to move on? And you know, they'll already tell you, you know, we're going to have to limit you. But I want our listeners and viewers to know they have to be selective. Just because it's a bowl game doesn't mean you have to play it. Pick and choose your spots. and pick and choose it with your mind and not your heart.
Joe D'Amico joining us. AASIwins.com is where you will find him. Also on Twitter, at Joe D'Amico Wins. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He's a great Twitter follow also. Joe, let me ask you about one more bit of strategy here, because we get a lot of this on the show. A lot of questions come in about when to bet. There are some philosophies that say, hey, listen, man, Sunday when those lines come out, as soon as the NFL is over, as soon as the lines come out, jump all over it. There are others that say, you know what, whoa, slow down, get as much information throughout the week as humanly possible before you start betting a side one way or the other. Are you a big fan of, if the number is right, bet it when you can get it, or are you more from the school of, give me as much information as humanly possible, I'll wait until 3 minutes before kickoff before placing a bet?
Joe, that's a great question, and I'll tell you what, I think there's an argument for both sides of that strategy. But the lines come out officially Sunday night in football. We're talking for the following week, and they're going to get hit right away. But you really don't know who's really hurt, who's not. You don't know weather conditions yet. If you have to jump on the line right away and it's starting to move, these are things that have a bearing on the game. And I think that waiting a day or two sometimes does help. You don't have to wait through the last minute. If you see a trend going on a line and it's around a hot number, yes, by all means, move on it. Listen to Smokey Robinson's mother, shop around. The difference between winning and losing is always that half a point. So I think there's an argument for both sides. I personally don't like to be impulsive. I'd rather wait a day. You don't have to wait 7 days or a few minutes to game time. I'd rather wait a day or so till I get all the facts. And I can always step away from a game. Hey, if I miss my chance at something and the line moved from a 6.5 to a 7.5 and I like the favorite or opposite and I like the dog, you know what? I don't have to play the game. The odds are I'll find another couple of games that I'll like and I'll feel strongly about.
There you go. All right, Joe D'Amico, let's start diving into some of these games this weekend. We'll start tomorrow with the Classic. What is it, 150 years, whatever it may be. It's something ridiculous, but Army-Navy. This is a rivalry that has watched Navy over the last decade or so kind of dominate, but not recently. Over the last couple of years, it's been Army's turn. So what do you like? What don't you like? How you looking at this game tomorrow?
Well, you're right, Joseph. This is one of the oldest rivalries in college football, 119th edition. Army has taken the last two meetings, but has covered 7 of the last 9. And over the last 5 years, each matchup has been separated by 7 points or less, including last year's 14-13 Black Knights win and cover. But these are two very different squads this year. The Middies 0-6 straight up and 2-4 against the number away from Annapolis in 2018, where they're being outscored by 16.8 points per game. Both teams, as everybody knows, can run the ball. Army got the second best rushing unit, Navy the third. The Army quarterback situation, to me, is a bit more stable behind Kelvin Hopkins. Navy, on the other hand, they've rotated 3 play callers, Garrett Lewis, Zach Abey, Malcolm Perry. The Black Knights offense does eat up more clock than any other team in the nation. Time of possession just shy of 40 minutes a game. They use up 2/3 of the game themselves on offense. They keep a defense on the field, keep them tired, keep their offense off the field. Another big edge here defensively. Army ranked 17th overall, and they played some good teams. 18.7 points per game allowed, 30th versus the pass, but most importantly, 12th versus the run. The Navy defense, listeners, they've been a doormat. They give up over 34.9 a game. They're not very good against the pass or against the run, 98th and 89th respectively. Against the numbers, all these stats, midshipmen 0-4 the last 4 non-conference, 2-6 the last 8 versus teams with a winning record, 3-7 the last 10 overall. The Black Knights 4-0 the last 4 following a bye week, 4-1 against the spread the last 5 games being played on neutral sites, and 5-1 the last 6 games played in the month of December. I know a lot of people are taking the points because it's been so close the last 5 years. Guys, for me, laying a touchdown with Army, time of possession, and the better defense, I'm playing that game. I am actually playing Army minus the 7. Guys, I don't think you're going to see a 7.5 on this game. You're safe until game time. lay the wood here.
Love it. All right, there you go. Joe D'Amico's going with Army. Lay the points. Love that. Should be a good game one way or the other. It always is exciting to watch that game because you kind of know what's coming up after that. In the next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, it's all bowl games. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to be on top of the bowl games, if you want to be a winner, if you are looking for quality and not quantity, then what you want to do is head over to aasiwins.com right now. That's aasiwins.com. You'll see JoJo there. Get in. You have an opportunity. There's a couple of phone numbers that you can call as well. We'll get you that information coming up here in just a minute. But speaking of bowl games here, Joe, was when they were announced, when they came out, was there any one that you looked at and kind of circled and said, this one's going to be a moneymaker?
Well, I probably circled 6 or 7, but I think I like to stick to some of the key bowl games, the orange, the cotton, the sugar. Any one right now, I think would be a little premature to give out. I don't want to give a teaser to the guys. I know that some of the lines are going to be moving the next few days and through the weekend, particularly listeners and viewers. After this weekend, remember this, that even though there's only one college football game, a lot of people, there's a whole slate of pros Sunday and obviously the Monday game. A lot of people, the general public, are going to take a beating again this weekend, as the general public usually do. They're going to be crushing on the next week's bowl games, which will be, I believe, 7 or 8 on the slate, give or take. You're going to see those lines move. I'm going to give out for next week. Me and you are going to get together. I'll be giving out a couple of free bowl winners for Friday, Saturday, and the following week for our listeners and viewers. Right now, I think it's a little premature. I don't want to get anybody salivating.
Well, forget about pick a side. Give me as a fan, Joe, as a football fan, is there one matchup here you're looking at and you're going, you know what, man, as a fan, I'd love to. Well, we'd all love to see Alabama get their ass kicked, but I mean, is there, are you happy to see Urban Meyer go? Maybe is that the matchup that you think might provide the most entertainment, or is it Clemson? Which one of these teams are you, or which one of these matchups from a fan standpoint are you going, this is going to be a fun game?
Well, Ohio State certainly, him going is certainly going to give them extra motivation. I am a bit of a contrarian, and as soon as he announced that he's gone, everybody I know says they're going to play Ohio State. So that to me, let me tell you, if everybody likes one thing, I don't want it anymore. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes things are too good to be true, and sometimes they're too true to be good. I will be honest. I do like the main games, like I said, the Notre Dame, Clemson, Oklahoma, Alabama. To me, cream always rises to the top. Guys, I got to tell you, Alabama is a machine. When you have a quarterback who was put on the bench that brought you to a national championship last year, this year, Tagovailoa, let's say that 3 times. My Hooked on Phonics books didn't come in the mail yet.
You got to clap it out, JoJo. Clap it out. Yeah.
Clap it out. There you go. I mean, they're a machine. I had a little Twitter debate. I wasn't trying to be a wise ass with a known sports commentator who said Nick Saban is not a very good college football coach. He's just a good recruiter. And I said privately to him, I said, buddy, 85% of college football coaching is recruiting. The game is won before it goes on the field. And then he went publicly and said, well, Joe D'Amico said this. Now I got in publicly and says, well, maybe that's why you're always behind the desk. You're not Howard Vegas, where the big boys are. Sit on the porch, buddy. Sit on the porch. Let the big dogs run. I want you to know that this team is a machine. And Oklahoma, while they're good, they give up tons of points. Their offense can score on just about anybody. But, guys, playing a defense like Alabama, Alabama is so good on both sides of the ball. Joe, I got a chance to watch Alabama practice earlier this year.
Ooh.
And I was on the field watching them practice a couple of days before game time. And I got to tell you, as their players were running, I heard like wisping wind. And then as their linemen were hitting, I got to tell you, I felt it in my bones. This team is a machine. They got a great coach. And people don't realize that certain conferences, the SEC, Big Ten, Big 12, Big Ten, SEC, if a key guy goes out, quarterback, running back, lineman, defensive back, safety, there's 2 or 3 more. They just have less experience right behind him. And that's what that's what Nick Saban has done in Alabama. I am looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Notre Dame, Clemson. I will tell our listeners, there are some people in the business that only talk about their winners. I went 3-1 a few weeks ago but lost a big play on Notre Dame. Yeah, on Notre Dame a few Saturdays ago. I went 3-1 overall, but lost a Notre Dame play. And it's not like I'm looking for retribution. I just think they're outclassed by Clemson here. I'm just waiting for the number to move a little bit. Notre Dame is a fan favorite. They get a lot of action on it. The general public like to play it, waiting for the line to move a little bit. Then I may make a move on Clemson. But time will tell over the next few days.
Joe D'Amico joining us. AASIwins.com is where you reach him. Now, Joe, let's give out quickly here because I know you got a great way for people, A, to go in, call, and not only be able to get a free pick of the day, but there's also an ability for them to be able to go in and sign up for some really affordable packages, depending on how many plays they want, depending on how many days they want, so on and so forth. So give us a little understanding, give the viewers a little understanding of how they get involved with Joe D'Amico through the phone.
Well, Joe, I was, a few years ago when everybody went to text messaging, I actually sat in a room with my father, who's 86 now, and he's a very sharp guy. But like many people that are in their teens, they're not familiar with how fast technology kind of, hits us. And he said, what the heck? I'm getting text messages, didn't know what to do. So I went back and I implemented a free pitch phone, actually, where you dial a number and you listen to a pre-recorded voice, because I know how our listeners love to hear my voice. And in the 3.5 years, I started in May 2015, the free pick phone, which is 1-800-563-8854. That's 1-800-JOE 8854. And this is documented. 612. I put a free pick every single day of the week. 612, 311, and 21, which is 66.3%. I've got a free pick each and every day. There's no callbacks. You don't have to talk to a salesman. Then a few years ago, in September of 2016, I started a paid pick hotline because the free pick phone got so popular. I said, well, let me start making some money. Hey, I'm not above making money like anybody else. Since September of 2016, 366, 155, and 10. That's over 70.2%. Guys, that number is 855-563-8854. That's 855-JOE 8854. But I want to give out something, Joseph, to our listeners and viewers out there, exclusively to them. Normally, if you call my office and you don't get sales pitch, bigger game, whatever works for anybody else in the industry, more power to them. Me personally, you go on with the service, you get what I got. So if you're a $50 player or a 20 dime player, you will get what Joe D'Amico has on the board. And nobody's going to tell you, I got the old universe game, I got the lock. You'll never hear that crap from my guys or from me. I'll tell you what, and if you ask me what I did yesterday, I went 1-3, I'll tell you I went 1-3. But I will flip it because I'm a salesman and tell you that the last 4 weeks, I'm 12-2. So I will tell you, for anybody that wants to call my office directly, they can get me personally at 855-776-8891. That's 855-776-8891. I normally receive $350 a week per sport. And I'll tell you what, you get the next 3 weeks. I'm calling my Christmas special exclusively to you, our listeners, our viewers. The next 3 weeks, all of my college and pro football games. There will be several games of the month and probably a game of the year I'm looking at right now, for just $129. So they can call us at 855-776-8891. Get the next 3 weeks of Joe D'Amico's college and pro football winners. No strings attached. No bigger games, no other packages. You get the winners, and I'll tell you what, the next 3 weeks, I promise you, I'll make you believe you'll come back for the rest of the season.
Love that. 855-776-8891. That is the number. 129 is the special if you want to hop on board with the Joe D'Amico train. And you might, listen, over 30-plus years success rate in Las Vegas. They haven't thrown him out. They haven't thrown him in jail. So the man knows exactly what the hell he's talking about. So hop on the Joe D'Amico train, 855-776-8891. Plus, you'll get him directly. So that's an awful lot of fun. Now, Joe, let's talk about a little NFL if we could. Sunday, we've got quite a slate of games, Week 14, kind of getting into that must-win situation right now for a few teams. Why don't we start with one of those teams, AFC North, Baltimore Ravens, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens are going to be on the road. Do you believe in Lamar Jackson, man? Are you a Lamar Jackson believer? Do you think he's got what it takes to upend one of the best or the best offense in the National Football League?
Well, I do like Lamar Jackson in this situation. I think he brings a dimension to the Baltimore offense that Joe Flacco did not. But there was talk, Joe, this week that head coach Harbaugh is going to be utilizing both. Now, it's not finalized yet. He did make that statement himself. Obviously, like you said, interesting matchup. The league's best scoring offense goes up against his best scoring defense. But facing a stingy Baltimore stop unit without a proven ball carrier is going to be a tougher task here than last week's matchup against a cushy Oakland defense. I'll be honest with you. Flacco, if they go the route of using both quarterbacks, Flacco, he can exploit the Chiefs' 32nd ranked pass defense, while Jackson and running back Gus Edwards can team up to exploit the 22nd run defense of Kansas City. But in the end, I do think Wonder Boy, and I put that in quotes, Pat Mahomes and his tandem of 1,000-yard receivers, Hill and Kelce, should be able to eke it out. I don't think it's going to be a big win cover for the Chiefs. I would take the 6.5 right now as of taping this with you. It's 6.5 and 51.5. I think it's going to be right around the total. I got the Chiefs coming out. I normally don't give final scores. I got the Chiefs winning by 3, 27-24. So if I had to play this game, I would take the dog here plus the 6.5 points.
Well, here in South Florida, of course, Miami Dolphins, it is a roller coaster of a year. They open up the season with 3 wins, and then everyone thinks it's Super Bowl bound. Then reality kicks in, and then we got Brock Osweiler. Now we got Ryan Tannehill. They just beat the Buffalo Bills barely, but they beat them, and the reality is they are still in the hunt for the wild card spot in the AFC. Now they take on the New England Patriots. A win here would go a long way in making a lot of people a believer here in South Florida about the Miami Dolphins. In reality, can they do it? Can they money line their way past the New England Patriots this weekend?
Well, all respect to you and your fellow South Floridians. I don't personally put too much stock in reading that Miami has given New England trouble over the last few years. This is Belichick and Brady in the month of December. The Patriots can lock up a record 10 straight division title wins here with a win here. And I'll be honest with you, they're just one game behind the Chiefs for the best overall mark in the AFC. We all know how much the hoodie, Bill Belichick, his ego, he does some things that other coaches don't do because he wants to one-up naysayers, let's just say. Tom Brady and company routed the Dolphins 30-7 back in September to give the team their 4th winning cover in the last 5 meetings in the series. And since then, honestly, New England has gotten healthier and better. I wouldn't go against New England this time of year, especially, like I said, a lot of talk. Miami's giving them problems. But listen to these against the spread numbers. New England 17-6, the last 23 on the road, 5-0, the last 5 versus AFC opponents. 37-15-2 against the spread, the last 52 overall. I think Miami, South Floridian, sorry. I think they dog out here. I think the fish are going to sink. I think the Patriots are going to soar. At least a 10-point victory. I think they win and cover here in New England.
Joe D'Amico joining us, AASIwins.com. That's right, AASIwins.com. That is where you can head over. Make sure that you guys follow him, too, on Twitter. Joe D'Amico Wins, at Joe D'Amico Wins on Twitter. Very entertaining Twitter feed as well. Another game that a lot of people are going to be looking at is, historically, let's face it, this has been a punch-for-punch game over the few years, and we're talking about, of course, Drew Brees. Anytime you're talking about Drew Brees, they're going to be points scored, but there has certainly been points scored with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and they're getting ready to do battle here. A lot of people would go, oh, look at the over, look at the over, look at the over. Are you convinced the over is a slam dunk in this game between the Drew Brees-led New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Bucks?
Well, let me tell you, being that I'm 5'8", when I had hair, I was 5'10". I don't talk about slam dunk in anything, Joe, but I will tell you this. I don't think anything is a slam dunk. I do think the number, the line on the game, New Orleans right now as of taping is laying 8. I think it's razor sharp. I think it's where it should be. Total 55.5. I do have this game going over. I think it's a tough game. I'll be honest with you. I think there's an argument for both sides. I think there are better games on the board if you're going to play a side. But I think if you play this game on the total, you have to go over. New Orleans is obviously, they're one of the odds-on favorites. I don't want to say odds-on favorite to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl this year. But if they do have a weakness, it's their 30th ranked defense. And Jameis Winston, how about if I asked our listeners and viewers a trivia question? Which one of these teams has the number 1 pass defense and which has, I think, the 8th or 9th or 10th or 11th? I'll be honest with you. I would have gotten it wrong. I had to double and triple check this. Tampa Bay Buccaneers own the number 1 passing unit in the country. Like I said, I had to double check that, Joseph, wow. But it is true. And especially, like, if I were to say, hey, Saints Buccaneers number 1 passing defense, passing offense, we would have both took it for granted without double checking or without really reading it prior to this that it was the Saints. But Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the #1 passing unit in the country. And like I said, if New Orleans has the weakness, it's their 30th ranked defense versus the pass. So I do think that offers some value there, but I think it offers more value for the over, as you talked about earlier. New Orleans is going to score points on anybody. They got he's having a banner year. He's got a running game, but their defense gives up a lot of yardage to the pass, and Jameis Winston's coming in. Plus, Tampa Bay, they played pretty well the last couple of weeks. He hasn't turned the ball over the last couple of games. And, and that resulted in 2 wins and covers the last 2 games for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think it'll be a lot tighter than what people think. But if I had to bet this game, I'd go over the 55.5.
There you go. Joe D'Amico joining us, AASIwins.com. Let's go to the Windy City here, Joe. Chicago Bears, Mitchell Trubisky has been cleared to play. He will play, taking on the Rams. And a lot of people in Chicago going, we ain't getting no respect here. I mean, the line opened up at 3.5. I think we're at 4.5 now. There's an awful lot of public money loving the Rams. But everything the Rams do this year seems to be life or death. So are we undervaluing the Chicago Bears at this point at home in December against this Rams team?
Well, there was a time that going into Soldier Field was almost as bad as going into Mile High, but it's not that anymore. L.A., they're the NFC West champs, but they're looking to stay ahead of New Orleans for home field in the conference playoffs. I don't have a problem laying a short price here. With the Rams offense, guys, they account for over 34.9 a game. Jared Goff and Todd Gurley can light up any defense in football, and the Bears have a good defense. But I looked at this game. I really scanned this game. They haven't faced a tandem of this caliber all season. Moreover, delving in deeper, the only 2 able quarterbacks that they really went up against, I'm referring to the Bears defense, were Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Viewers, listeners, who combined for 573 yards passing, 6 TDs, 1 touchdown, tore them up, which were both losses for the Bears. Mitch Trubisky, yes, he's cleared. He's most likely playing. But I don't think he has the weaponry in his arsenal here to contend. I don't think he'd go score for score with the Rams, who really do want that home field. They got to stay ahead of the game. It's really a fight between them and New Orleans. It's a big thing, this home field. I don't know if our viewers and listeners really understand how important home field is in the postseason. It is huge. And if you can have it through the postseason, it's great. Los Angeles' offense, 2nd in total yards, 4th in passing yards, 4th in rushing yards, and 2nd in points scored. I see this closer than most people. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I see them winning by maybe 7 points, the Rams. But I would lay the wood here and lay the touchdown with the Rams against the Bears here.
All right, one more before we let you go here. Joe D'Amico joining us, AASIwins.com. Also, Joe D'Amico Wins on Twitter, at Joe D'Amico Wins. The Monday night game, I've been saying it now for a while. This is a different Russell Wilson. He's actually getting protection this year. And this team, be careful. It's still a place that there is some home field advantage with that 12th man in Seattle. And Monday night, they welcome in the Minnesota Vikings, who over the years, we know Mike Zimmer, ATS, he's been a moneymaker. But this year's been a little bit different. It's not exactly the same Minnesota Vikings team. But man, oh man, to me, do not sleep on the Seattle Seahawks. They are hosting the Minnesota Vikings, 12th man in play. Who you like in this game, Joe?
Joe, I'll be honest with you. To me, of all the games between Sunday and Monday in the NFL, this is the toughest one to handicap. Both teams have displayed Jekyll and Hyde tendencies. Seattle, 3-game winning streak they're riding, but as a one-dimensional offense, the Seahawks own the #1 rushing in the NFL, but they pose no aerial threat at all. Minnesota, far cry from the team they were last year this time. But they still have a nasty stop unit, 7th against the rush. Kirk Cousins can throw the ball and has some talented receivers. I think this game is going to be a very tight one. As of taping, I believe, before we went to taping, I checked the lines. I think I saw a 3 and a 45 on this game. I don't think it's going to go over. I think it's going to go just under. More of a, not so much a defensive battle as a lack of offense. If I had to take this game, I'll be honest with you, I think there are better games on the board. I would stay away from this game. I think the Seahawks will win this game overall because of some of the things you mentioned earlier, maybe by 3 points. But I think there are better games on the board. I want our listeners, I want to reiterate, there's no crime in stepping away. Just because a game is a Monday night game doesn't mean you have to play it. Just because your alma mater is playing in a bowl game doesn't mean you have to play them. No crime in having a beer with a pretty lady, getting some chicken fingers, watching the game and enjoying it. I mean, if you need a little action, then there's a 1-800 number to Gamblers Anonymous. It's more important. Listen, this betting sports really is, you should have fun in doing so. And to me, it's always been more fun when I'm making money. So if I have to be a little apprehensive about a game, I stay away from it, guys.
Yep, there you go. You heard it, and that's what it's all about. Don't have to play. Sometimes the best bet you make is the one that you don't make. So there you go. All right, let's put it up on the screen here. Those are the 800 numbers. If you're going to call any this week, this is definitely the ones to call. You got 800-563-8854. That'll give you your free winner. And then, of course, you got the 855-563-8854. That'll give you an opportunity. All of Joe's top plays, his releases, you name it, $7, $10, $15. 25, 50, whatever it is, there is something for everybody there. You're going to get what Joe has, and ultimately, that is what it is all about. Joe D'Amico, there is nobody better, folks, all right? He is the king of Las Vegas as far as I'm concerned. He's been doing it forever. He is definitely somebody that you can trust. Transparency, good guy, knows what he's doing, and anytime you have that kind of longevity in this industry, you are doing something right. So if you're looking for a new perspective, a new fresh set of eyes, a fresh look, maybe you're going, you know what, it's just I'm not happy with where I'm at right now and who I'm working with, and you're looking to step up or maybe step out and try somebody else, Joe D'Amico, AASIwins.com is definitely the guy that you want to put at the top of your list. So, Joe, I appreciate your time, my friend. It is always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll do this again next Friday, and we'll talk a little more bowl game action, more NFL. We'll eventually get into your thoughts with college basketball, the NBA. It's going to be an awful lot of fun, Joe, but enjoy your weekend, my friend, and thank you very much for stopping by today.
Joe, I want to thank you. I want to thank our listeners and followers. And remember, guys, this is about winning, but it's always more fun, obviously, when you're making money, but this should be enjoyable. If you can't use me, definitely go to one of the other professionals out there, a reputable, proven winner. I promise you, you'll probably be in the plus column at the end of the day, the week, the month of the season. I want to thank you guys for listening. Good luck and have a winning day. There
you go. Joe D'Amico, there he is, AASIwins.com. Make sure you follow him. Write these numbers down. Make sure you get over to Twitter, too, at Joe D'Amico Wins. You can't go wrong. Joe D'Amico, that is the man, looking so forward. I was looking so forward to having a chance to be able to talk to him. I mean, you guys don't understand. We talk about this on the show all the time. Unfortunately, fortunately, sports betting is growing. And sports, it's nothing new, but now it's growing. It's becoming mainstream. More and more states are they're legalizing it in more and more states, which means we've got more and more sports books that are going to be opening up. But unfortunately, the flip side of that is that we also have a whole bunch of people that swarm to the social media and digital aspect world, and everyone is a professional sports handicapper. And what happens is it drowns guys like Joe D'Amico out, the guys that have been doing this for 30-some-odd years, the guys, you don't do anything. I mean, most people today don't do anything for 30 minutes without failing and then moving it to the side and moving on. To do something for 30-plus years is absurd, okay? Especially in the sports betting world where you've got to bet $11 to win 10. Every bet. Every bet. I mean, do you guys understand that? Every bet, you got to bet $11 to win 10, okay? So to have somebody that has that kind of longevity, these are the kinds of guys that we want to be able to focus on and show you. And the guys that, the guys that haven't been doing it 30 years, the guys that fly under the radar, they've only been doing it 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. But you know what? Their record speaks for themselves. They're transparent. They're good people. They're not hiding behind anything. They don't have 14 burner accounts. They're not bitching and moaning. They're not telling you only about their wins. They're telling you about the losses. These are the guys that are represented here on the Joe Raineri Show. That is the whole purpose of what we're trying to do here, is to showcase and shine a light on the guys that are truly the best of the best. The guys that this is a place you can come to if you are looking for sports betting advice. And many of us are. Let's face it. It's always good to have a fresh perspective, get a new set of eyes looking at something, and get another opinion. Knowledge is power. We talk about this all the time on the show. Knowledge is power. We want to make you a better sports bettor, right? How do you do that? Well, you do that by introducing you and exposing to you guys like Joe D'Amico. AASIwins.com. He's going to be joining us each Friday here, getting you ready for the weekend. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I certainly hope you guys wrote these numbers down. If you didn't, I'll give them to you one more time. You've got it there. Well, at least I almost had it over there. Let me see if I can get it for you one more time up on the screen. There it is. 800-563-8854 or the 855-563-8854. Jot those numbers down and listen, call, get the free pick a day. What do you got to lose? You got nothing to lose. Call 800-563-8854. Give Joe a chance to earn your business. He's been earning people's business for over 30 years. I think you're in good hands. So want to thank Joe D'Amico for stopping by once again. Looking forward to being able to consistently bring him on the show and letting you guys hear from him. You know, there's a lot of ways to go about sports handicapping. Every handicapper that we bring on this show, they have their own approach. They got their own style. They got their own thing that they do. It's up to you to decide what's a good fit and whether or not it's somebody that you want to do business with. But I promise you, the guys that we bring you and introduce you on this show, they will earn your business. Okay, they will earn your business. And, you know, not every day is a winning day. We know this, okay? But these aren't guys that are going to run from their losses. These aren't guys that are going to pretend they never lose. And more importantly, these guys are here for you to meet them. Go figure. You want to do business with people you actually know. What a shock. What an absolute shock. Guys like TrendyBets.com, our friends at TrendyBets.com. Every day now for the last month, they have been coming on the show and giving you a free NBA play of the day. And it's been, what, 61%? Over the last 30 to 61%, it's been fantastic. These guys have been great. And the feedback that we're getting from you go to TrendyBets.com. These guys, they answer you right away. They're very respectable. They're another one of these companies, these up-and-coming sports handicapping services that they are who they are, and they don't hide from it. They're transparent, and they've been giving you quality picks and quality advice. And we're going to give you the TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day today. That won last night, of course, Knicks Boston over 218. They nailed that. And they've got another play for you coming up we're going to provide for you. And I just want to also remind you, if you're just joining us, get ready. A little UFC action. Been looking forward to talking UFC here on the show. And with UFC 231 coming up tomorrow night, I figured who better to turn to than our friends at WagerTalk.com. And they have a guy that does just that. There is a capper there. You're going to love this guy. Kyle, he is known as MrUFCVegas. You are going to have a chance to meet him. He's going to talk about UFC 231. He's going to talk about betting strategy when it comes to looking at UFC and MMA fights. All of that knowledge is power. Good stuff. He's coming up just around the corner. Looking forward to that. But I do want to get you your TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day. Let's get them up on the screen. Here you go. We offer you the opportunity to go to TrendyBets.com and get yourself a package right now. Here's the best deal at Trendy Bets. They have a Christmas special going on. If you use the code at checkout, you ready? Any75. That's Any75. You're going to get 75% off any one of their packages that they got going on right now. Really? I mean, 75% for you guys to give Trendy Bets the opportunity to earn your business. That's what it's all about. So head over to TrendyBets.com and check it out. Any75 is the code you use at checkout. And here is their TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day. They're looking at the Kings and Cavs tonight. Sacramento, 2.5. Total, 221.5. Here's what we know. TrendyBets.com. Over 11-1 in the Kings' last 12 road games. Jeez. Over 7-1 in the Kings' last 8 after allowing 100 points or more in their previous game. Seems like they always give up 100 or more. Over 6-2 in the Cavs' last 8. Boy, the Cavs have been bringing it lately, haven't they? 6-2 in the Cavs' last 8 versus a team with a winning straight-up record. And the over 15-7 in the Cavs' last 22 games after allowing more than 125 points in their previous game, which they just did to the Golden State Warriors. The TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day. They're going to go with the over 221.5 in this game. Kings, Cavs tonight over 221.5, and that is your TrendyBets.com NBA free play of the day. Make sure that you guys check out trendybets.com and use the code ANY75 at checkout for one hell of a discount. You're talking 75% off. How cool is that? All right, coming up, we're going to introduce you to Mr. UFC Vegas. We're going to talk a little UFC 231, some tips, some strategy. What fights does he like? What doesn't he like? We're going to get you all educated coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But first, we do have to spend just a, 230 seconds talking about a few of our sponsors here and recognizing a few of them who go ahead and make this possible. Folks like iTicketHub.com. I've been telling you, if the holidays are just around the corner, if you have people coming into town and you're like, oh, God, I cannot believe I got to hang out with these people. It's the one time a year that everyone's off, and now you got to spend pretending like you like these people. Maybe the best way to go about it is get the hell out of the house and go to a bowl game, go to an NHL game, go to an NBA game, do anything other than have to sit across the table from them. And if you are looking for tickets to an event, any event, concert or a local event or a chili cook-off, or you want to go to the Warriors game or the Celtics game or the Heat game, whatever it may be, I promise you, the guys at iTicketHub.com, I've checked it out. There is nobody cheaper on the secondary market, okay? You go to StubHub, you go to Vivid Seats, you go to all of these places, and then you go to iTicketHub.com, and right off the bat, minimum 10% cheaper than every other secondary market, if you can believe that. I mean 10%. I checked everything when I tell you concerts and chili cook-offs and games around the country. I went to StubHub first, and then I went to iTicketHub.com. And same seats, same sections, okay? Similar seats, similar views, similar places in the stadiums or the concert venues. And they were at least, in many cases, 10% cheaper. And right now, write down this code, JRS18. JRS18 is going to get you an even bigger discount on those tickets right now. iTicketHub.com. That's where you got to go. Don't you dare buy anything from StubHub or any of these other people without going to iTicketHub first and write that code down. JRS18. That is going to get you an even bigger savings. So don't spend your time this holiday having to talk to relatives that you haven't seen all year and you really can't stand them. Take them to a hockey game, take them to an NBA game, take them to a bowl game. Get the hell out of the house. Go to iTicketHub.com. Use that code JRS18 and save even more money. All right, our man, he's coming up next, WagerTalk.com, Mr. UFC Vegas. That is right. UFC 231 is just around the corner. We're going to get his advice. We're going to get his picks. Who does he like? Who doesn't he like? All sorts of great information is coming your way. We will do that in exactly 95 seconds. Don't go anywhere. It's the Joe Raineri Show. And I want to thank Low Cost Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, and Miami Acura. We'll be right back.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Hey guys, welcome in. Exciting weekend ahead of us here, especially for you MMA UFC fans. It is loaded. UFC 231, 232, 230. I've lost count. I know it's in the 230s, and that is why we thought it'd be best to bring somebody on who specializes in the UFC. And we turn to our friends at wagertalk.com, and we bring you Mr. UFC Vegas. I'm not kidding you. This is his name. His name is Kyle. You see him, but he goes by at Mr. UFC Vegas on Twitter. Definitely worth a follow. He joins us via the Miami Acura hotline. And Kyle, thanks for taking some time, my friend.
Great. I appreciate having me on. Definitely looking forward to talking some big fights.
All right. Well, let's talk big fights. Let's get you acclimated here for the listeners or the viewers for the first time that go, all right, Mr. UFC Vegas, give us a little background, man, where you come from, what you're doing, all that good stuff.
Sure. So I've joined up with Wager Talk. I specifically just focus on the UFC. Been really spending all of my time rewatching fights, rewatching footage. We'll kind of get into some of that too as well when we get through this. But for me here, I've been having actually a great year at 70% on all of my best bet plays. Always looking for value, and all my best bet plays are under -190. Having a great year. My last 9 plays, I'm 7-2. With out of the 7 wins, 4 of those come on underdog. So I'm always looking for value and not trying to give you, Daniel Cormier over Derek Lewis.
Oh, yes, there you go. That's what we're talking about. All right, now, Kyle, help for somebody that may be an NFL fan, a college football fan, college basketball fan, doesn't necessarily spend as much time with the UFC as they do on those sports, but you know what? Would be interested on maybe laying a bet for the matches and for the, what's going to happen here at UFC. So what advice would you give to the novice bettor looking at handicapping UFC?
Well, for me, when I really break down fights, I think that a lot of people, obviously, there's, you got point spreads in every other sport. Here, it's pure money line. So, I mean, just to throw it out, you've got Shevchenko, who's -340, and then you've got Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who's +280. So you're going to have to lay, if you're doing off of $100, you have to lay $340 to win 100 on Shevchenko, and vice versa on Joanna. So you really got to take a look at it. And I think for me, the big thing is really rewatching past fights and really understanding certain paths to victory for each fighter. And for me, when you take a look at football, or there's, basketball, baseball, there's so many people on the field. Here it's 2 people, and I think it's a little bit easier, at least in my opinion, to kind of break down how things and outcomes could possibly happen.
And that's important, too, that people understand that it's not a team sport. It's mano-a-mano. And how much does styles come into play when you look at 2 fighters there? I mean, you've got somebody maybe from the Gracie side of the, of style. How do you take that into consideration?
Well, even with one of my best bet plays was Khabib Nurmagomedov against Conor McGregor. And even in that fight, a lot of people were so just overwhelmed with the things that he was saying. And people really are focusing on a lot of the talk, where that's going to be part of it. Some of the mind games could be part of it. But really taking a look at what they do. What are they weak at? What are they strong at? How have they been elevating? Have they been getting better? Are they a fighter that's kind of on the downturn, maybe wear and tear? So there's definitely a lot of different things that you have to take a look at and more into consideration, where a fighter is, the damage they've taken, how many times they've been knocked out. So kind of their mentality of what they're really looking to do moving forward too.
He is Mr. UFC Vegas. WagerTalk.com is where you will find him. Just like the rest of the guys, you go to the handicappers page, you'll see Mr. UFC Vegas there. All sorts of packages, affordable packages. If you really do want to dive in to the UFC matches that are coming up, he is definitely the guy that you are going to want to go and see and invest in. That is for sure. When you look, or when you, I ask this of every UFC guy that I ever talk to, because from somebody who doesn't spend a lot of time focused and is really in on it, do they have a star problem now that Conor McGregor is, he's made his payday? And, he's already gotten his ass handed to him once. He's going to get his ass handed to him again, But do they have a problem? I mean, they've created so many great stars over the years, but now, even with the, the fights coming up, Brian Ortega, and these are great fighters. They're not great household names. Is the UFC in trouble from that standpoint?
I think, Conor's always going to be around, but they know that they have to really find new stars. And I think that even leads to certain paths for where they don't want to really kill the fighters by really pushing them up against something that could be very, very competitive early. So they kind of want to start to breed them a little bit. And I think Ortega is a kind of guy that they want, that hey, he's a very well-spoken guy. You know, he's 14-0. That undefeated thing always kind of hangs and looms and always brings some more mystery to the fighter. And I think even with, Khabib beating Conor, it can pull at least some of his star power over to Khabib a little bit. So that's kind of the way that they're looking. And I think they match up a lot of these younger guys purposely against some of these older guys. So you say, hey, I want to take a look at, Mauricio Shogun Rua fought Tyson Pedro. Tyson Pedro, they wanted to see him win, I believe. And he ends up, Pedro ended up losing that fight. So they want to get maybe an aging fighter against a phenom and see if they can kind of catapult his light a little bit more, I think.
How about the women's division over there? Have you seen a lot of growth in that recently? Because again, Ronda Rousey, she leaves, and then what happens? Like, where do you go there? Have you seen the level of competition? Has that increased? And is there a star on the horizon?
I mean, definitely it's increasing. The only problem that you see, even with the flyweight title, you had someone win, the reality show, and then she vacates the title, and now they're fighting for it, and then they're pulling stars in other divisions into it. Shevchenko is moving down, Jędrzejczyk is moving up to fight for this. So it's a little bit weird, but I think somebody like, Cyborg, who's there, who's a household name, a big fighter, but she's obviously, she's kind of been around, so she could be the next one that may leave. And someone like Amanda Nunes, who could be the next name that they say, hey, she could have a long run, have an impressive run. And I think those are the ones that really need to build up that division. But you're definitely seeing when she left, it kind of left this little void in the whole women's division as a whole.
Yeah, no, it certainly has. Kyle joining us at Mr. UFC Vegas. You guys can check him out, wagertalk.com. He's under Mr. UFC Vegas. I'll give you 3 guesses as to what his specialty is, okay? Mr. UFC Vegas, wagertalk.com. Let's dive into UFC 231. Let's put aside Max Holloway. Let's put aside Brian Ortega. But let's talk about some of these undercard fights who there's some value there, is there not, in these fights? So give us some fights that you're looking at and that you think you see value right now.
The one that I really like is between Elias Theodorou and Eric Anders. This fight here, to kind of break it down for you, you've got, Elias is a -135, and then you've got Eric Anders who's +110. But you take a look at these two guys, and Elias really likes to have space. He likes to be able to work his combinations from the outside, and he wins decisions. And he's beaten some mid-level guys just by volume, pushing out volume, winning those decisions. And when he fought Brad Tavares, who was more of a forward kind of pressure fighter, he ended up losing that fight. And then he fought Daniel Kelly, older fighter, kind of a journeyman, more of a brawler. And although Daniel Kelly did lose that fight against Theodorou, the thing that he had was success, was pressuring. And I think that really kind of leverages right into what Eric Anders does well. Eric Anders, pressure fighter. He's big for the division. He's got power. He can take it to the ground. So there's a lot of great things that he does. And even if you look against Machida, he fought Machida, and Machida, well-rounded striker, but he did lose a split decision in Brazil, but he had success pressing forward. So I really think in a fight like this, I think that Eric Anders is going to push forward, give him a lot of problems, and I really think that there's opportunity for him at +115, +110. He's going to have value in that spot.
I love it. All right, now let's. Is he the best money line? The best plus? Is there a bigger plus number next to somebody's name that you're going?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the plus ones that I do like. +115 on him, I think, is solid value. But then you look at some of these, where I think the line's a little off on the co-main event. You have got where Shevchenko, a big favorite. I don't know what they think, where they put those lines, maybe pushing you away from it. But some of those are a little off.
Okay. Now, and what's your approach to that? Because you have some schools of thoughts where, you'll have some cappers that go, the line opens up. If it's where they want it to be, they jump all over it. There's another school of thought that, guys go, I need as much information as humanly possible, and I'm going to wait right up until the last minute to be able to make my decision here. At what point do you look at it from the UFC handicapping standpoint and go, now's the time for me to jump into this, whether it's 3 days or an hour before?
Well, I try to see, I think the big part of that is where you think the public money is going to go, the big favorite. And going back even to the Khabib fight, you have a line there where the money is probably going to trickle in on Conor just because of the name. It's plus money. So if you like Khabib, you wanted to wait a little bit because that line's going to move down a little bit. But if you like Conor, you probably wanted to jump on it a month before the fight or a couple weeks before the fight because there's going to be more value there. So again, going, into the card that we have now, when you've got Shevchenko who's minus 340 and then you've got Jędrzejczyk plus 280, I mean, that line to me when it first came out, I'm looking at it and before it came out, I'm looking at it as I would play Shevchenko, minus 180, minus 190, but when you're in the mid threes, that's a lot of juice to be paying up on a fighter who's actually, a past champion in Jędrzejczyk.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering too when you look at the cards, and we're talking single bets here. But Kyle, like I know, there are people out there. They get that crack itch, man. They got to parlay something. They got to mix and match. They can't help themselves, man. Forget about the fact that they can make money, straight up with a straight bet. But they got to go ahead and mix and match things. What advice would you give the bettor when it comes to UFC if you want to create more than one bet? What are you looking at?
Well, for me, I think I really believe in tiering bets. I mean, it's a lot different because you've got so many fights. A lot of times, UFC enthusiasts, they want to, hey, it's on. You want to start betting. And you have to really take in consideration where the value is. For me, if I have an allotted amount of money I am going to be betting for an event, I'm doing a large amount of it, 75% of it, on my best bet play. And that's where I want to have all of my value in. And then I'm spreading it over the other part of it, over parlays, over maybe some value plays where you've got Eric Anders, have a little exposure there. And then maybe you're parlaying them together to work the odds. But in general, for me, I'm looking at 1 to 2 fights that I feel really, really good about. And those are the ones where I'm going to be laying my money. And again, there's so many fights. You want to have the action, that's not where you're going to be able to, you don't want to do it for entertainment. You're looking to make money. And that's kind of the smarter way to do it. Tier your bets, have your strong play. And then after that, you really want to make sure that you're at least finding good value.
Smart, educated advice. That is why we love our friends at wagertalk.com. He is at MrUFCVegas. That is where you will find him. Make sure you head over there. Now, I know the main event tonight, this is one of your strong plays. So if this is something that people are going to be interested in, Kyle, you are offering it tonight. You're going to give people a chance to be able to get this pick, and we were talking off air. You're pretty damn confident about this pick, man. You got that swagger rolling, brother. So tell people where they can go and how they can go ahead and sign up with you.
Sure. So you go on to Wager Talk. You'll see my name. You go down, Mr. UFC Vegas. You can see some of the past plays that I have on there, as well as you'll see a link to my YouTube, Mr. UFC Vegas. You go in there, and I do prediction shows, bet review. So I am as transparent as possible when it comes to my best bet play. I talk about it afterwards just to make sure, win or lose, there's always something that you can learn from the fight. So if I win, you don't want to give yourself a pat on the back too much, and then you want to move forward. And if you lose, you want to understand why you lost. But at this point, again, for the year, I said I've had a great year, 70% winner, right on the nose for the year. So I got to be feeling good where things are. But definitely check me out on Wager Talk, and I appreciate any of the support.
No, not a problem. WagerTalk.com, you guys know where to go. Now, you had mentioned one of the undercard fights that you were really interested in. Give us one or two of the other intriguing matchups that you might have circled on the card going, I like this.
Sure. The other one that I do like is between Thiago Santos and Jimmy Manuwa. I think it's a little bit up on the price for Thiago Santos. He comes out there, he's 19-6, but he's 5-1 in his last 6. So he's definitely rising up. His only loss was against David Branch, which was kind of a fluky knockout. He's got a great skill set, and I think the way that he's so creative when he moves forward, way he attacks, he's got a lot of weapons. Jimmy Manuwa, 38 years old, kind of on the downturn, lost back-to-back fights, and his chin has pretty much gone at this point. He's got power. I think that he really sweeps through Jimmy Manuwa, and I can't really see a fight where it's going to last a long time, where they're going to really be exchanging, and then there's going to have opportunity for Manuwa to really work his game. So I like it. The minus 195, not the greatest, but I think there's still value there because, hey, a winner is a winner.
Now, if you are, do you ever approach these bets and how about rounds? Will it happen before the second? Will it be happening before the third? You're not gonna mortgage the house on these types of bets. But if you have a strong feeling about one way or another the way a fight is going to go, maybe there are some mismatches and it happens, and you go, I've got a knockout artist going on against somebody. If he connects, it's probably going to be finished before it starts. Yeah. Is there ever any value in looking at the rounds for a bet?
I like in the women's division, although it's not always going to be the greatest value, but there are so many decisions, and I always like to take them. If anything, I'll parlay it with one of my best bets. Sometimes they're at a -200, but there's just not that, depending the fight, of course, but there's not many of those finishes. So there's a lot of value on the women's side of taking the over-unders and trying to find a spot there, and always taking the over there. I'm more favorite on going that side of it. But even the fight with Jimmy Manuwa versus Thiago Santos, you've got it's 1.5 rounds, and you've got the over is +140, the under is -170. So, I mean, it's very possible it can go there, but these two guys are going to stand in the middle and trade. So I think the under is probably the play. But for me, I'm more of, I break down a fight, I take a look at the paths to victory, and I pick a fighter. I'm more on the pick a fighter side than pick the over-under on rounds.
He is Mr. UFC Vegas. If you can't tell, he's really passionate and really knows his UFC, which is why we brought him on for you guys, introduce you so you understand. It is a big card coming your way. WagerTalk.com is where you go to be able to sign up and get that knowledge and use it towards you. Invest in yourself, invest in Kyle. That's the way you do it. Also, make sure you follow him on Twitter at MrUFCVegas. Now, we're not going to talk Max Holloway taking on Brian Ortega, because I know that's a favorite pick of yours, which is great. But talk to me a little bit about what happens if Max wins, what happens if Brian wins, what does the future hold for the division, and what happens to these two guys?
I mean, it's a very interesting thing, because you've got Max Holloway, who has been sick. He's missed a bunch of fights, and that was a big question. Although now it sounds like he made weight and everything's good, but that was a big issue. Now he's healthy, and having these two guys in their prime fighting each other is really going to be elite level mixed martial arts that you're going to see. It's really going to be upper echelon. But I think with Brian Ortega, if he does win this fight, I really see they want at some point set up a Khabib and Brian Ortega fight. I think that's something they want to do. I think even if Max wins, they're looking to do that and have Max move up in weight and fight, because there's such, right now, the two belt, champ thing is like, has exploded. Everybody wants to become that. They're not even comfortable being just a champ at this point.
Right.
So I think that you could see Khabib and one of these guys end up fighting at some point soon.
Wow. So that's so this is huge. I mean, this has got so much, a whole lot of implications in this fight too. And I think maybe the best part about it is that you've got two of the best at the peak of their career right now. So it's, if nothing else, it's going to be one hell of a fight. Is it worth the pay-per-view money though? Should you be shelling it out?
I buy them all. I watch everything. So, and your average person, you know what? You have to be excited about some of these other fights. I mean, like I said, there are some other really great fights on the main card. I mean, even Gunnar Nelson versus Alex Oliveira. That's another great fight. So, it depends your level of interest. But for me, they're all worth it.
Yeah. Where has Gunnar been, by the way? What has been, like almost 2 years now? Like he's been off the grid. Like what's going on with that?
I'm not even sure what's going on with him. You know what? And I think after he had a couple losses and he started, things just kind of changed for him. But I think in this fight, he does a lot of things a lot better than Alex Oliveira in this fight. So I like him to probably get that job done there. But I just think that that's another great, stylistically, another great matchup to watch for.
And what do you, do we get in a rematch with Conor? What do you think, man? Is it coming? Is it going to happen?
I don't know.
Does it make sense for either one of them? I mean, it makes sense for UFC, but does it make sense for either one of those guys to do it?
For Khabib?
Yes.
I mean, you know what? I mean, right now, no, just because it was such a dominating performance, and you need to really build Conor up a little bit, and I think they're trying to do that. They were talking about Cowboy Cerrone and him fighting, which I'm not. That really didn't make sense at first. Now they're talking Dustin Poirier and Conor, which I think makes a lot of sense. But I think that's a very scary matchup for Conor. How good the boxing is of Poirier and the way how well-rounded he is. So I don't think they want to keep having Conor lose and then they bury their biggest star. So he needs to get a win or two under his belt, and then he's going to get back into that picture. As long as Khabib keeps winning.
We ever going to get a like a real heavyweight champ, like somebody that we are just like? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean the heavyweight division in boxing and even the UFC, it should be so much better than it is. As much as I love watching 145-pound guys beat the living shit out of each other, okay? I mean, can we be real? The heavyweights are where the money at, and boxing is just destroyed because we can't get any there. But I mean, is there anybody? Is the problem recruiting? Like we can't get these big guys into the gym? Like what's going on the circuit?
I do find it very weird that, Daniel Cormier wins and they're looking to set up this Brock Lesnar fight.
Yes.
It's why, I understand that, it's money. It's gonna put seats, put people in the seats. It's gonna sell pay-per-views. But in general, Brock, what is he, 4 and 5, or he's. I mean, and then they're putting him there, and now the whole steroid situation, which he's really downgraded just the way he looks in general. So I mean, that's going to be, in my opinion, that's a lopsided, easy victory for DC against Brock. It's a cool wrestling versus wrestling, but not anymore with their cleaning out. Maybe Brock on steroids would be more intriguing.
Yeah, I don't know. I really hope they get it together. I hope there is a new crop somewhere that's coming up that will, that will build up the heavyweight division, because it certainly is needed. It kind of changes the cards. It changes anticipation. There's something about getting those 250-pound dudes in there, man. Everyone waiting for that haymaker, man. That coming around. That's the end of it. So, but either way, it's going to be one hell of a card. UFC 231. Listen, knowledge is power. We say it here on the show all the time, and we pride ourselves on bringing you some of the best from around the country that have this knowledge, who put the time in. They do the legwork. They do the research, so you don't have to. That is why, if you want to lay a little action on the UFC 231, this is where you go. You go to Mr. UFC Vegas. You head over to wagertalk.com. Hop on the packages right now, and not just UFC 231. Moving forward, and there seems to be a UFC every 3 days here, so if you really want to get into it, there's no better person to learn from and to follow and to invest in than Kyle at Mr. UFC Vegas on Wager Talk. Kyle, I appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you so very much for coming by. Give them one more time. You got the YouTube. You got all sorts of stuff going. Tell them one more time how they can get in touch with you.
You check me out on Twitter at Mr. UFC Vegas. Also check me out on YouTube at Mr. UFC Vegas Fight Club TV. All Mr. UFC Vegas. Definitely subscribe. And again, check me out on Wager Talk. Got the pickup now for sale.
Yeah. I wouldn't be looking for any tennis recommendations from him, but definitely Mr. UFC Vegas is where you go. Kyle, appreciate, my friend. Enjoy the weekend. We'll do this again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. All right. WagerTalk.com. That is where you find Kyle. We want to thank him so very much for coming on and talking a little UFC. Listen, it's a different animal altogether. And, sometimes as a sports bettor, you love the NFL, so you concentrate on the NFL and college football. Or you love the NBA, you can't stand hockey. If you're a hockey guy, you bet nothing but hockey. So, sometimes you get guys that like one or the other, and then they look at the UFC and, there's something historic about whether it be the boxing matches or these UFC fights where you may not follow the sport as much as you follow, the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball, but you still want to, you got that itch, you got that action, you want to be able to, place a little something on that is what you want to be able to do. So the question that I have is, why in the world would you try to lay money down on something without going ahead and getting the advice of somebody like Kyle, like Mr. UFC Vegas there, who spends a significant portion of his day doing just that, and that is handicapping the UFC. All of these services that we bring to you here on the show, all of these cappers, they ultimately are doing what you and I don't have time to do. They are spending the necessary time needed in order to become a profitable sports handicapper. You can't do it working a 9-to-5 job, guys, and, spending an hour, from 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night and going, oh, let me dive into this. No, it requires an awful lot of, it requires a certain amount of skill, but it requires an awful lot of work and patience and dedication. And it's not that we don't want to as sports bettors. Who the hell has time to do it? We don't. All right. If you have a life, you have a wife, you've got kids, you've got responsibilities, you've got a job, you don't have time to spend 40, 50, 60 hours a day trying to figure out exactly where is the value on tomorrow night's game. Where is the what match should I be looking at UFC? And, I want a little action, but I'm not really sure who to play. That is where these guys come in, and that is why we are showcasing and bringing to you guys like Joe D'Amico from AASIwins.com. These are guys that have been doing it and do it consistently over and over and over. They do the legwork so you don't have to. And the best part about, we heard from Joe earlier today, and we want to thank him. And don't worry, if you guys missed any of these interviews, by the way, the best part about streaming is not only will it be available to you across all the platforms here, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. We're always streaming live, guys, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, between 4 and 6. You'll see us live. But you'll always be able to get the replays because they're housed here across all of those platforms. And then what we do, of course, throughout the day, throughout the weekend, is we isolate those interviews and we bring them to you in case you missed them. So you'll be able to get just Joe's interview, just Mr. UFC Vegas's interview, all the interviews that we do all week long. You'll be able to get those isolated. So the only thing we ask is that you follow us and you engage us. And if you like the content, if you like what these guys are saying and you like the interviews, then go ahead and like the videos. Go ahead and drop us a comment. Go ahead and subscribe to our page. That really is all that we ask of you. We are trying our best to bring you the best that this country has to offer when it comes to sports handicappers. And there's plenty of them out there. The problem is they're getting drowned out, especially in a digital world across all digital platforms. The really good ones are getting drowned out because everybody is a professional handicapper these days. And so what we're trying to do is introduce them and bring them to you, shine a light on them, showcase them, because we all love to bet. I mean, that's why you're here. That's why you're watching. That's why you follow. We all love to bet, but sometimes we don't have the time necessary to dedicate to be a professional sports handicapper. Very few people do. And the people, even of the people that do, very few are very, very, very good. Any industry that, if you're right 54% of the time makes you a superstar, this is not an easy industry. So, unfortunately, when you look across the landscape on social media especially, everybody's a genius. Nobody ever loses. Everybody always wins. So when you come here, we're going to be bringing you guys that are proven winners over time. Guys like Joe D'Amico from AASIwins.com. Guys like all the guys, the roster that we bring on from WagerTalk.com. We can't thank them enough. Mr. UFC Vegas. Make sure that you guys follow him on Twitter. Definitely somebody when it comes to the UFC industry and it comes to those fights and those cards, that's the kind of person that you want to go to. So Mr. UFC Vegas at wagertalk.com. That is how you get there. We want to thank him very much for coming by. We also, tomorrow, are also going to talk to Gianni the Greek. Looking so very forward to talking to him. Another one of these cappers that has been doing this longer than some of you might have even been alive, and he is great. He also does all the pregame fights on UFC for FS1. He's going to join us tomorrow and get you ready for a little preview, a little pregame show that we're going to do leading into UFC 231. So make sure that you guys check that out tomorrow. Get ready, follow us, like us, retweet us, do all of that good stuff. We certainly appreciate it. We also appreciate our good friends over at Good Greek Moving and Storage. They are the guys that move just about everybody in South Florida. And I'm serious when I say that because they are the official movers of the Florida Panthers and the Miami Marlins. Good Greek Moving and Storage. Whether you are moving around the block, up a flight of stairs, out of the state, if you know somebody, maybe you or somebody you know is moving to the South Florida area, these are the guys that you want to call. GreekMoving.com, or simply on your cell phone, dial ** Greek. That is ** Greek. That'll put you in touch with these guys, and they are fantastic. And being in radio for as long as I've had, you got to move every now and then, more often than not. And I mean, how do you think the Marlins players feel? They're moving every 2 years. So these are the guys that do it, and it's always good to have in your phone a mover that you can trust. And these guys you can trust. So remember, GreekMoving.com or ** Greek on your cell phone. That'll put you in touch with our good friends at Good Greek Moving and Storage. Wow, this has been one hell of a Friday show. Plenty of information to digest. Again, Joe D'Amico from AASIwins.com had some thoughts about tomorrow's Army-Navy game. He's also got some plays for you on Sunday in the NFL. And if you missed it, it's very simple. Here's the phone numbers, all right? 2 options for you right now. You can get his free play of the day, free winner. All you got to do is call that 800 number 1 right there, 800-563-8854. That'll put you right into his free play. Bam, that's all you need. You get the free play, you're good to go. Or if you're looking for more than one play and maybe you're looking for a package, simple. Call the number 2 there, 855-563-8854. That's 855-563-8854. Jot down those numbers, guys. Remember those numbers. Those are numbers that create winners, and they have been creating winners for a long, long time now with Joe D'Amico. So if it's football you like, those are the numbers that you want to call. So see what he's got to say, 800-563-8854. Get that free winner today from Joe D'Amico from AASIwins.com. I want to thank our good friends over at Trendy Bets. If you're just joining us and you didn't get a chance to see our TrendyBets.com NBA play of the day, here it is for you. Kings at Cavs, total 221.5. They're going over tonight. That is their free NBA play of the day, over 220.5 at TrendyBets.com. It looks like all the trends and all the numbers are pointing in the direction of the over at 221.5. So do yourself a favor and get over there, and depending on what book that you use, but you know us, it's where America bets. It's uwager.eu. That is where we suggest you go. That is where we suggest that you create an account. And if you guys check in the comment section here, there's a link there. It'll give you all sorts of information on how to go and get a sign-up bonus and all of that good stuff. But uwager.eu, it is where America bets. It's where the Joe Raineri Show bets, and we thank them very much for being a part of the show. Wager Talk, you guys rule. Trendy Bets, thank you. Miami Acura, Good Greek Moving and Storage. Don't forget iTicketHub.com. They are the place to go. If you're looking to go to a bowl game, Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, the I don't give a shit bowl, whatever it is, I got to get out of the house bowl, whatever you might be looking to do, iTicketHub.com is the place to go. They are at least 10% cheaper than any of the secondary market services. They are great, and don't forget, it's very simple. All right, you use this code at checkout and get an even bigger discount. JRS18. That's JRS, Joe Raineri Show. You like how we did that? Joe Raineri Show 18. iTicketHub.com. Use that code. Get an even bigger discount on any ticket for any event, concert, whatever it is, chili cook-off, whatever you got going on. If there is a ticket made for it, these guys have it cheaper than just about everybody else. So iTicketHub.com. Use the code JRS18. Also, want to send a shout-out to our good friends at HalftimeMagic.com. That is where I'll be spending my evening waiting for the alerts. Love these guys over at HalftimeMagic.com. I encourage you, if you haven't already seen the interview with the CEO of HalftimeMagic.com, Scott. We actually aired it a little bit earlier today. It is on the timeline. It's on our Twitter feed. It's on our YouTube page, Joe Raineri Show. You guys check it out. If you want a very interesting and unique way to approach sports betting, then HalftimeMagic.com could be exactly what you're looking for. So I encourage you to check them out, HalftimeMagic.com. If you didn't figure it out, what is the concept? The concept is they don't bet anything until they see the two teams face off on each other, and they get a half worth of data in. Once they have that data from the first half of a college game, an NBA game, a football game, once they get that data in, that is when they send out the alerts and tell you what to play for the second half. That, my friends, is a lot of fun because it's very fast-paced. You've got to be ready to go, and it just adds the level of excitement up a notch. And for the last 12 months, and it's documented at Halftime Magic. Go to @HalftimeMagic on Twitter. You'll see the plays. You'll see the documentation. Yeah, they're 58% over the past 12 months. So it's no joke. The data works. The math works. The system works. All you have to do is head over to halftimemagic.com, get yourself signed up, or follow them very quickly. And you can do it at Halftime Magic. And we tell you each and every day, if you want to see what it's all about and you'd like a free 2-day pass, maybe you're looking for a little something different this weekend, then all you have to do is text us right now, 305-791-3839 here on the show. That's 305-791-3839. You text us on the show right now. Text us the word halftime, and we will go ahead and give you an opportunity to win not one, not two, but hell, we'll even give you a 3-day pass right now, a whole weekend pass of free plays courtesy of halftimemagic.com so you guys can see what it's all about. Don't wait. Call us or text us, 305-791-3839. Just text the word halftime, and we'll get you set up for an opportunity for a free 3-day pass to halftimemagic.com. So, again, another one of those, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Check it out. You'll see it. Go to halftimemagic.com or simply text us at 305-791-3839. Give yourself a chance at a free 3-day pass, a weekend pass, free plays courtesy of halftimemagic.com. All right, that does it for us here on the Friday edition. Gianni the Greek Gambler, Greek_Gambler. He's going to join us tomorrow. We'll have a very special UFC show tomorrow, once again, leading right into the start of the pay-per-view event. Gianni is the guy you'll see him on FS1. You'll see him on Trey and Wingo. You see him just about everywhere. Gianni is the man. You'll also see him at wagertalk.com, and you'll also see him here on the show tomorrow. A very special weekend edition, UFC 231. Gianni the Greek, he's going to be joining us tomorrow here on the show. So make sure that you guys are following us and get yourself ready to win. It's going to be a winning weekend. All right. Want to thank Joe D'Amico. Thank you very much. Want to thank Mr. UFC Vegas. Want to thank Wager Talk, Halftime Magic, Trendy Bets, Miami Acura, uwager.eu, Good Greek Moving and Storage, and damn it, iTicketHub.com. And I nailed every single one of them. You guys rock. Thank you so very much for making us a part of your week. We know, I know, you got a lot of choices out there in a digital world. The fact that you spend even a few minutes with us here on the show, it does mean the world. And the only thing that we ask is that you go ahead, tell your friends, like it, thumbs up, subscribe to us, make us a part of your day. We would certainly appreciate it. It would mean the world. So on behalf of all the people I just mentioned, have a great weekend. Best of luck to you. We'll be back on Monday for the regular show, 4 o'clock, as we do. But don't forget tomorrow, very special UFC edition here on the Joe Raineri Show with Gianni the Greek. You're not going to want to miss that, too. You want to talk about information. What a whole bunch of information you're going to get tomorrow. So have a great weekend, guys. Thanks for making us a part of it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.